Hello, and welcome to my second episode of my devlog. Alright, so there's a few things to go over this episode. It's mostly going to be about dungeon generation, but there's a couple other little changes I made. So if you take a look at stuff like the trees, the trees, that's a bush, and the bushes, I've changed the sprite up a little bit. I'm going to be changing them all more later on, overhauling them, but for now I like the color palette a little bit better, and I added some berries to this, and it's really cute. So there's that. So here's another thing I have over here. Let's get rid of this pesky bat. I've made these torches, and these are using particle effects, and I think it's something I'm going to use going forward for different things, like for maybe some magic weapons or something like that. But I really like the way it looks, and you can really do a lot with them in the Godot engine, so it's been really interesting trying to learn them. But I think they look sweet, especially on these torches. So yeah, this is a placeholder door right here, just for the dungeon spawning. So if I go through that door, it's going to take us into our dungeon. But before I do that, I think we should hit the pen and paper and take a look at how the dungeon generation is actually going to spawn. So I'll be with you in a second. Okay, so dungeon generation. So we come in here and we have our first room, and we're going to call that our start room. And then from there, we copy that room and we move it somewhere else. So we either move it north, east, south, or west, so it just picks a random direction and it sits right there. So that'll be room 1. And then from there, we'll have another room come in and it'll spawn. It'll check each way, so it'll check north, east, south, or west, and it'll choose a random direction, and then it'll go in that direction. So it could go north, but if it tries to go east, it'll cancel it and it'll say that that room is already existing. So it'll go back and it'll try to go north, west, or south. So if we go south, then we'll come in here and we will have room 2. So from there, it'll just keep spawning. So it'll do the same thing. So it'll walk in a direction, and it might choose here, or it might choose there, and then it'll keep going. And then it'll just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And it'll walk in a random path until I've decided it's done. And then if I go in here, then it'll be the boss room. And it knows it's the final room, and it'll choose that, and I can spawn in my boss or whatever. So it'll spawn the amount of rooms that I want, and I can either do it a random amount of rooms or I can do random rooms. But yeah, so basically it just goes through, it checks if there's anything in each direction, and it'll go in that direction. If there's something there, it'll say, oh, this is existing, and it'll take a step back and it'll try it again. So that's how that works. So you'll never have a room detached, and you'll never have a room overlapping. Alright, so we're back in game now. So let's go through and let's hop into the dungeon and see what it's like. Alright, so when you come in and spawn in here, first let's turn the music down a little bit. Yeah, so here's one thing I've changed. So I've changed it so that there's 3 dials now. There's the master volume, music volume, and the effects volume. The effects volume is going to change stuff like your slashes and your hits and stuff like that. So that's that. And if we close out of there, so you can see we start in the start room and the doors are open, there's nothing here. But if we go down, we'll see some bats spawn in, and I have it right now to be set between 2 and 7 bats randomly, and I have it set so that they can't spawn too close to the player because you don't want to die right when you go into the room. And you also get a few invincibility frames too, so you're not going to get hurt right away. And then we'll go through, and you'll notice that when there's enemies in the room, these doors are closed and you can't go in them at all. But then if you destroy all the enemies in the room, the doors will open and you'll be able to go through the dungeon. Another thing I want to do is I want to have it so that these rooms are a lot more randomized. So if you come over here, there might be like a hole here and you can't go that way, or there will be some like pots or something like that that you can break and you can get money that way. But for now it is what it is, but it's definitely going to be more varied with more enemies and more things to do in each room when you go through it. So if we come through here, we're trying to find the boss room, so let's try to do it without dying. Be preferable. So we'll go through, and you can see we're on room 6 now, so that's just the amount that they've spawned in. It's not actually the room number you're on, so this spawned in like on the 6th room position, but it doesn't really matter. See, like you'll see like 5 is after, but it doesn't matter. Oh god, I'm really hoping I don't die right now. Oh. Trying to find the boss room. Oh, we're going backwards. Come on, boss room. Oh no. Oh. See? And if you come in here, it's going to be completely different this time. So it's way different than it was the first time I came in. So we'll go through it again. Oh, see? This one spawned in 9, so it must be... Oh, God. Please don't die. So it must be further out into the dungeon. So if we spawn or kill these guys here, hopefully we can find the boss room. And that is definitely not the boss room. So we'll have to keep looking. One of the things I'm going to add, obviously, is when you go through it, on the top right or top left, there's going to be a mini-map. And it'll only show you the rooms when you've been to them, and it'll kind of draw you a little map of where you're going. So that's going to be really handy, but that's something I have to work on probably next time. 7. Let's see if we can make it all the way to the boss room. Oh, and I died. And it's different once again. Let's see if we can get there. Come on, pesky bats. Yeah, see, even now it's like, it's got some challenge to it, even though it's just at the beginning stages. It's going to be way more varied later, but I have no idea where I'm going. I don't know how I'm getting to the dungeon. It would be helpful if there's a mini-map. It would definitely help a lot, but for now, we're just going to have to go without it. Oh, so we're getting closer. Let's please not die. Some evasive maneuvers. Oh, I think that might be the boss room. Let's see. Nope. We still haven't made it to the boss room. I haven't decided how many rooms I want to do yet. I don't know if I want to do a random amount of rooms. Oh, here we are. Or if I want to do like predetermined for each different dungeon. I'm not too sure yet. But yeah, so here's when it would be a boss instead of bats, obviously. And then once you finish, it'll spawn a little treasure here. Your health will probably go up a little bit, your max health. And then it'll open up a door and you'll be able to leave the door. So that's how that's going to work. But yeah, so that's how the dungeons work so far. There's still a lot of work to be done, but I think right now it's really good. Like, I'm really happy with how it's going. Oh no. Oh no, what have I done? Oh good. I'm really happy with where it is. Obviously, it's not going to say like 8 on the ground or whatever. That's just for testing and for illustration purposes. But yeah, it's going really well so far. If you guys have any suggestions or anything you kind of want to leave down in the comments, feel free to do so. I'll read all the comments and everything, so don't worry about that. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the next devlog. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you guys later.